Hello partner, you are on the Power Circuit. This program is specially packaged by the Transmission Company of Nigeria TCN to bring you the latest updates on the Nigerian electricity supply industry. I'm your anchor, Amara Agugesi. In today's episode, let's take the headlines. TCN inaugurates committee to oversee power sector recovery performance. Stakeholders discuss strategies to raise sector-wide investments in Nigeria. TCN expands transmission capacity to 8,701 megawatts, targets more projects. Kindly stay with us as you enjoy this power sector enlightenment campaign of TCN. In pushing towards improved service delivery, the Transmission Company of Nigeria TCN has inaugurated a committee to drive the implementation of the Performance Improvement Plan and Power Sector Recovery Operation PIP-PSRO program.
The inauguration held in Abuja marks a critical milestone in TCN's commitment to improving operational efficiency and strengthening the national electricity transmission network. Speaking at the inauguration, the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, Engineer Dr. Sule Ahmed Abdulaziz, noted that the program is governed by a NEC order which requires the formation of a multi-stakeholder committee. Engineer Abdulaziz emphasized the importance of effective coordination and stakeholder engagement in driving project success. The PIP-PSRO program mandates participating entities like TCN to address systemic challenges, including network bottlenecks, high system losses, and infrastructure inefficiencies.
You know, it is a very, very important committee. It's not by chance you find yourselves in that committee. You are elected or you are nominated there because we know you can perform. So it is a very serious business, and we don't want you to fail us. We put you there because we think you have the capacity and the capability to do the job well. So what I have to say here is we wish you well, and any support you want from the management, we are ready to give you. But also you also have to work hard. There are different projects that are under PIP from different departments. So there should be synergy between you and the people that are directly supervising the projects. You are like a project team. You will look at the projects, look at the way they are going to be paid, and so many other things. But there are also field officers that work in the project. So for you to succeed, you need to cooperate with them.
The TCN helmsman stressed the importance of stakeholder collaboration, urging committee members to work closely with relevant industry players to ensure the program's success. This committee is a vital part of TCN's commitment to sector recovery. Its work will be instrumental in achieving more reliable power transmission and fostering long-term sectoral improvements, he said. Also speaking at the event, the Executive Director, Transmission Service Provider (TSP) at TCN, Engineer Oluwagbenga Ajiboye, emphasized the importance of accountability in the implementation of the Performance Improvement Plan.
We say thank you, MD, for the audience you have granted us and the time you have spent, and everybody that has come from far and near. Thank you very much for your presence here. We appreciate that. Thank you.
He stated that clear performance targets and measurable indicators would be established to ensure effective governance and oversight. Chairman of the newly formed committee, Engineer Ali Ibrahim Sherifai, who also serves as the General Manager of Transmission Services, reaffirmed the team's dedication to upholding both national and international standards.
So already we have started before we do the inauguration for us to brainstorm and see how we are supposed to work. So we will need a dedicated auditor. In the other one, they don't have that. So we want a situation whereby we'll be like a project monitoring unit. So in this case, it will be PIP monitoring unit, in such a way that if the project comes, by the time we are processing it, we make it to be faster. We fast track it. we wanted the bottlenecks that is having with the other project to be, reduced in such a way that we already have most of the members that are from the user departments. We have the auditor, we have the procurement, we have the FIA. So that we that are the user department, as soon as we look at the projects, we process the document. Once it reaches the invoice, that invoice will be faster by the time the auditor has already done his job.
He pledged that the committee would work diligently to resolve transmission challenges in line with regulatory expectations. This initiative not only supports TCN's mission of ensuring a stable and efficient transmission grid, but also creates an enabling environment for increased local and international investment in the Nigerian power sector.
The power sector landscape, as well as other sectors in Nigeria, are being repositioned to further attract more investments that will advance the capacity to deliver increased electricity and other essential services to Nigerians. This formed the core of discussions at the Nigeria Public-Private Partnership Summit 2025 in Abuja.
The summit, organized by the Infrastructure Concession and Regulatory Commission, ICRC, is part of a broader effort by Tinubu administration to bridge Nigeria's infrastructure deficit by leveraging private capital and technical expertise across all sectors of the economy. Stakeholders also attended the technical session. One of such stakeholders was from the management of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN. The Executive Director, Transmission Service Provider at TCN, Engineer Oluwagbenga Ajiboye, made active contributions during a panel session.
We are open to business with private sector, so we look forward to them to come, seek opinion. Let's discuss with our regulator. Let's discuss with our owner. Is it going to be viable for all of us so that we can look at the way to get this money back? Please know that there is limit to the debt. All these are debt for us. We have to go to the all relevant offices to analyze it to know whether TCN can actually take that investment and still survive.
Engineer Ajiboye noted key technical and institutional reforms that are vital for attracting investment and integrating renewable energy into Nigeria's transmission infrastructure.
If you invest in a particular sector, either a substation or a line, in as much as you have the grid and the transporting power, you are sure for revenue in your return. We don't pray for any unfortunate thing to happen, like destruction, like earthquake, like cutting off your equipment from the grid. In as much as you have here, you are sure of recouping your money. So that is one of the incentives, but the format, particular and tailored to TCN, I can't say we have developed that. We will keep on doing it as it's an evolving thing. Because when we go through, we realize that this is not okay for us. We look at the situation that we do a project, not the one that we think TCN, but the one that made the TCN also viable and the investor also getting something. We have not gotten to the point of having a particular or specialized one, but we believe sooner or later we will get there with all participants in the market.
Key participants and panelists were from the International Finance Corporation, the African Development Bank, other financial institutions, as well as heads of ministries, departments, and agencies of the federal government of Nigeria.
But there is an existing regulation that speaks to investment in network, Regulation 2015, which allows private investors in both the transmission and the distribution. Of course, the regulation wasn't so clear about the recovery pattern, and the Commission is currently working on that. And then at the back of that, recently we introduced what we call Transmission Infrastructure Fund. The idea of the fund is to attract private investors and leveraging on that, on the inflow into that particular fund to attract private capital that are required for investment in transmission. Basically, this particular fund, the implementation is not going to be bogged down by bureaucratic system in the public sector, like the need to get a CLC and so on and so forth, because this is not really a concession, and neither is it a public fund, because it's not really the TCN fund. It's just a fund that is being created. It's a market fund which belongs to the market as a whole, but the intention is to use it for the implementation of critical infrastructure.
The power circuit continues in a moment. Don't go away.
The Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, transmits bulk electricity from power generating companies, GenCos, distribution load centers of distribution companies, DISCOs, nationwide. At TCN, we transport bulk electricity at very high voltage to DISCOs, who now off-take it and distributes it directly to electricity customers nationwide. TCN does not generate electricity. We transport the quantum of power generated to distribution load centers. TCN does not distribute electricity directly to electricity consumers. Our job stops where that of the DISCOs begin. TCN, transmitting bulk electricity in the most efficient and effective manner.
The Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, has announced an expansion of its wheeling capacity to 8,701 megawatts. The Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of TCN, Engineer Dr. Sule Ahmed Abdulaziz, stated this at a capacity building workshop for journalists in Kefi, Nasarawa State. Let's get the rest of the reports.
The workshop, themed Understanding the Critical Role of TCN in Nigeria's Electricity Supply Industry, NESI, enabled TCN officials to provide updates on power transmission operations in Nigeria. The head of TCN, who was represented at the workshop by the Executive Director, Transmission Service Provider at TCN, Engineer Oluwagbenga Ajiboye, in a presentation, said that in spite of the debt burden, it has not stopped the company from pushing forward with critical infrastructure upgrades. The expansion is a testament to our commitment to strengthening Nigeria's power transmission backbone, he said. While reaffirming TCN's commitment to transparency in its operations, the TCN boss stressed the need to strengthen capacity for all the sections in the electricity value chain. For instance, over 40 transmission substations remained underutilized or shut down due to unresolved right-of-way issues or outright rejection of power loads by distribution companies, DISCOs.
That is where you will see Transmission Company of Nigeria investing. And the market is being open now. We are already discussing where we cannot meet the demand of the people. We are ready to throw it open for private-public partnership.
Also speaking, the TCN General Manager, Program Coordination and Technical Assistant to the MD CEO, Engineer Aminu Tahir, presented an update on projects being executed under the Project Implementation Unit of TCN, PIU. He highlighted that the unit is currently executing projects funded by the World Bank, AFD, and AFDB, while procurement process for the JICA Lagos and Ogun projects is being finalized.
That money is loan that is going to be paid by us. The money, Nigeria borrowed the money via or through Ministry of Finance, and then Ministry of Finance are the borrowers on behalf of federal government, and then we implement the projects. We are asked to identify some of these projects. Studies are carried out, and then know where critical projects or where the projects are needed to be.
Engineer Aminu noted that several of these PIU projects have been completed, while some others are about 80% completed. These projects have significantly boosted the national grid with an additional 5,910 MVA of power transformer capacity to date.
The bulk of the work is on World Bank, and it's where we have made so much work there, and we are making so much progress. Almost on weekly basis, we have one station or the other to commission. So in World Bank, we have about 3 activities we are doing there. We have the rehabilitation work we are doing. There are some stations where you have maybe you want to increase the capacity. We are rehabilitating that, or you have some equipment that are aged and we want to replace them. So we are doing that work. That's part of the rehabilitation work. And there is no lines work there. Most of them are substations work. We change the transformers, we change the panels, we change the switch gears in some stations. And then the other part is the supply aspects of the projects, which we have also supplied quite a number of equipment to our store in Lagos, some arching transformers, some haulage equipment, and a lot of switch gears to help in changing some of the old ones we have in the substations. And then we have done so much work in the substation by commissioning many of them, which we'll see the list of some of the projects.
The Assistant General Manager, Risk Management and Special Assistant to the MD/CEO of TCN, Engineer Godwin Agweyi, delivered an insightful presentation on the current status of TCN.
Our major activities is to operate, expand transmission facility for efficient and effective wheeling of generated electricity from the generating stations, to build transmission grid, to pursue interconnection, just as I mentioned in the previous slide, with neighboring countries for power exchange, to improve TCN revenue base, to ensure a self-sufficient and self-sustaining company, to ensure that safety and environmental issues are managed to meet international standards.
The General Manager, Transmission Service Provider, Engineer Ali Sharifai, discussed the far-reaching effects of vandalism on TCN and the broader Nigerian power sector. He noted that with a vast transmission network spanning over 16,000 kilometers of high-voltage lines and more than 41,000 towers nationwide, TCN is the backbone of the nation's electricity supply industry, and vandalism of its installations has significant impacts. He highlighted vandalism's negative effect on grid expansion and resultant power outages. To mitigate this, TCN is enhancing community engagement, collaborating with state governments, partnering with security operatives and local vigilantes, as well as intensifying public sensitization campaigns to safeguard the nation's power infrastructure.
TCN has 10 number regions cut across the whole federation. So if a vandal is arrested, either by local or by our staff, the first thing we do is to inform the security operations for him to be arrested. So if he's taken, let's say by police, the problem we realize is that before we start court case, of which we already have a legal department with us, who is going to be the personnel that will be part of that interrogation. What we normally used to have then was we will find out that the person is being bailed and released. So it has been occurring, that 2022, as I said, 2023, when it started becoming too much. But 2024, 2025, in 2024, before I get to 2025 because of answer, we still used to have such issue with the security. But there are some that we are lucky it will reach up to the prosecution. So now with ONSA, what we normally do is that when a vandal is arrested, and we are sure the vandal that has been arrested is a correct vandal, that all the, things that are supposed to show that he has done, the proofs are available. So we inform ONSA. They have now a department that takes care of it. I think they call it energy. So they will go and arrest that vandal and they'll bring him to Abuja.
Also, in another presentation, the General Manager, Material Control and Stores, Engineer Abdul Kadir Adamu, discussed the expansion of the storage capacity of TCN beyond the central store in Ojo, Lagos State. There are now zonal stores in Onitsha and Kaduna to ensure the timely delivery of quality materials to support maintenance activities and project implementation in TCN substations nationwide. Engineer Abdul Kadir noted that TCN stores are presently well stocked with critical spares, including transformers, accessories, circuit breakers, and heavy-duty haulage equipment, among others. This availability has significantly reduced downtime in grid operations nationwide.
We have stores in each of our work location, and that's why we're saying this second dashboard we are going to have, you have to see everything. Before even these stock codes, they were different. Each place has their own stock code. But now we have a centralized stock code.
In a reassuring tone, the chairman of the Power Correspondent Association, PCAN, Obas Isiadesa, noted the commitment of power reporters towards propagating milestones and enlightenment actions about the Nigerian electricity supply industry, NESI.
In today's episode, we brought you key reports in the Nigerian power sector. We told you that the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, has inaugurated a committee to oversee power sector recovery performance. On the wider scene, stakeholders in Nigeria have discussed strategies to raise sector-wide investments, including funds for the power sector. And we brought you the news that TCN has expanded its transmission capacity to 8,701 megawatts and is targeting more projects. The Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, has made editions of the power circuit available on its YouTube channel for enhanced access to knowledge. We encourage you to support TCN by connecting with all its social media platforms. On Facebook, like TCN via Transmission Company of Nigeria. For X, formerly Twitter, follow at TCN_Nigeria. And on Instagram, get updates by following TCN_Nigeria. TCN officials welcome your observations and comments. Please send them via email to affairs.public@tcn.org.ng. For more information about TCN's activities, visit the interactive website at www.tcn.org.ng. Additionally, check out www.tcnnews.ng for updates on power sector activities. Let's continue supporting TCN by guarding against vandalism of power transmission lines, towers and substations in your area. Report any suspicious activities aimed at vandalizing or sabotaging power transmission assets to TCN officials or nearby security operatives. I am Amara Agugesi. Let's support one another always. Bye.